So if you're considering a career in sales, in the next 10 minutes or so, I'm gonna share with you the best job opportunities and industries to work in, the highest commission checks. You know, the same information will apply if you already work in sales, but you feel like you're capping out in your current workplace, the industry you're in is dying, or you just feel as if you're not getting compensated enough for the work you do. But what I'm gonna share with you today will not only highlight the highest paying roles, but also ones with the fastest career progression, most flexible work environments, and ones that will set you up for the most success 5 to 10 years down the line, and hey, maybe even shorter. Now, the first role I'm gonna speak about is an appointment setter, and this one you're gonna need zero experience to land, and it will have you earning between 3 to 5K, sometimes even more, in a matter of months from getting started. So obviously, what is an appointment setter? The clue is kind of in the name. Your main job is to find potential prospects who would be interested in buying the product or service the company you work for sells and book them into a call. Now, this is done through cold call, LinkedIn, cold email, social media, or a good role will have you going through all the leads and prospects that have come in through the various marketing methods that company uses, such as a lead giving their information over in exchange for a callback or a free piece of information. And as I said, a lot of companies will be happy to hire people with no sales experience for these roles, mostly because a lot of it is quite repetitive tasks that just require hard work. The actual skill set itself isn't too difficult to learn, and you won't have any bad habits from previous experience from other companies, and the company, you know, can hire and train you up exactly how they'd like to. But of course, you can still get hired with experience, which might just allow you to make more money with these job types. Now, who hires appointment setters? That's any company with a sales team will have appointment setters at some level. Classic corporate companies like Salesforce, Oracle, and other big tech companies will likely pay the best out of the corporate bunch. Typically, these are called SDR roles, sales development reps. However, these roles are highly competitive and the career progression is much slower, and you'll be working a lot harder to hit a decent income at these roles. Your entry salary might be $40,000 to $50,000, with UK data showing entry-level positions paying around £27,000 a year, with a more advanced role touching, you know, £45,000 a year, which might sound great, but bear in mind you'll likely be earning that for 3 to 5 years before seeing a significant promotion. Now, the most fruitful industry I recommend people to go and be appointment setters in or be beginner SDRs in is by working with digital and online companies. These could be consultancy, coaching, info product, marketing agencies, education companies, or service-based businesses that operate 100% remotely. You know, because these businesses are remote, you can pretty much get hired by companies all over the world, so you have a huge variety of companies to pick from. Whereas in a more traditional sales job, whether that be an SDR, account exec, sales manager, etc., very much going to depend on where you live. And yes, a lot of roles are going more and more remote, but a lot still do require some in-person meetings, commuting to an office, team days, which means if you want to get hired by a big tech company or a big sales company, you're going to have to be based near their offices. And I said this video is mostly focusing on highest paying, but if you have to relocate to a major city like London, yes, you might earn more, but your living costs are going to be significantly higher, and you might even move to an area that you don't like. Whereas in comparison, for working 100% online company with a global team, you could relocate to Bali, South Africa, if that's your thing, and your pounds and dollars will go much further. Or you can just stay in a town without crazy rents and house prices. And to get back on track with the salaries you can expect for working for these online companies as an appointment setter, which can vary from 3 to 5K depending on the size and quality of company you work for. For example, I hire 4 appointment setters for one of my businesses. Their average pay is around $5,000 per month, throughout the 4 having next to no sales experience before working with me a little over a year ago. 2 are based in South Africa, 1's in the Netherlands, and 1's in the UK. So obviously my view is that working for the online companies is a much smarter option for beginner sales reps or even more experienced ones, as I'll come on to, with the pay often being better, but the career trajectory also having a much sharper increase in a short amount of time as possible. So the next 2 roles I'm going to list out in this video are going to solely focus on the online industry. The next one being a triager. A triager is often a salesperson that sits between the sales rep closing the sale, the closer, and the sales rep that has set the appointment. The appointment setter. The triager's job is to warm up and qualify prospects that the appointment setter has booked in before passing them on to the closer to sell for. Not every business will hire and have triagers play a part in their sales process, with it often being larger companies that get a lot of organic or paid traffic pushing prospects to book a call. Let's say a company is getting 50 book calls a day of people being interested in buying their product or service, but only half those people are actually in a position to buy, the other half not being qualified, the product not being the right fit, or they simply don't have the budget. It's the triager's job to find the people that do fit, do have budget, and can buy, whilst weeding out the others. So the closer is only speaking to people and selling to prospects that are in a position to buy. So they just simply jump on a short 15-minute call with these prospects and separate them out. So triagers will be paid a commission on the prospect that close on that final call with the closer, typically making 5 to 10K a month, obviously again depending on the company. And a triager can also be hired with no sales experience. I've seen it happen many times, and unlike a lot of the corporate roles, these online companies aren't as interested in CVs and resumes and work experience. Just because you've got a big name on your record doesn't mean you're good at selling. They want to see it for themselves, and will often get you to demonstrate your sales ability during interviews or even in the application process. They are more interested in the skill itself rather than any industry experience. And there's one example I can share with you would be one of the guys I've coached, George. He came from a solar sales background, earning about 5K a month, and transitioned into a remote sales job working for an online company as a triager. I believe in May he made just shy of 10K in that role, which is double what he was making before, not spending all his time driving around client to client, just simply locking in on what he's good at, which is selling. So if you're currently looking to get started in sales with limited experience, these first two roles are great for getting your foot in the door within the online space with healthy earning potentials. The final role I'm going to explain, as you could guess, is the closer. You know, a closer is a person who makes the sale. Calls will be booked directly into that closer's calendar from the appointment setter or the triager, and their job is to simply hop on calls with qualified prospects, answer any questions or concerns they have, and close the sale. Closers have the potential to make 10 to upwards of 30K a month, and like all three of these online sales roles I've mentioned, are paid mostly in commission, with a closer making 10 to 20% commission on each sale they make. So if they close a $10,000 deal, they'll have 1 to 2,000 in commission for just over an hour's Zoom call. And just to backtrack a little bit here, appointment setters will make 5 to 7% commission, and a triagers will make similar to, sometimes hitting 10, but you have to remember, a triager will likely have at least 2 appointment setters feeding them calls. So you have at least double the chance of making a commission. And the same with a closer, having 2 triagers feeding them calls. So again, their chance of closing a deal are double that of a triager and 4 times that of a setter. So as you can see, being a closer is the ideal role for a lot of sales guys and girls that are entering the space. Your sole job is to focus on what you're good at, selling, and it's the highest return for the hours you put in. Whereas if you compare a more corporate sales role, you're likely working 9 to 5, 5 days a week, commute to the office, partaking in a lot of admin tasks, and maybe you're able to hit 6 figures, but the time commitment will be much larger. Whereas a closer working for online businesses might only need to close 10 deals or so to make 10K a month. You know, with the 25% close rate, which isn't great, they only need to take 40 calls a month. And another factor to mention here is career trajectory. It takes people years to land 6-figure sales jobs in the corporate world, with many of which never actually getting there. Compare this to the online space. I've seen guys coming from having no sales experience to scaling past 20K a month in a year's time frame. It just depends on your ability to sell and do the job well. Your resume isn't as important. But of course, having sales experience is great and will be a massive help to landing more lucrative roles out the gate. But many sales reps enter the space with limited sales experience and simply put in the work to refine their craft, invest in further training and education so they can climb that metaphorical corporate ladder much quicker. You know, one of my own sales reps only had 6 months door-to-door sales experience before entering the online space, and he's averaging 15K a month, having only been in the industry a little over a year. That kind of career trajectory is unheard of in a traditional sales job, and bear in mind he's only 22. And of course, his career trajectory won't stop there. Like many of you watching this video, a lot of sales reps I've seen and worked with within the space have huge ambitions. You know, being a sales rep isn't the finish line. They want to set up their own business one day, manage their own sales teams, or play a much larger part in the businesses they work for aside from selling. Working for a lot of these online companies gives you a hell of a lot more exposure to the inner workings of the business and seeing how things operate and run. You know, you might not be stuck in an office, but a lot of these companies run very lean. And that's part of the reason they pay so well is because of their big margins. But you'll be working alongside the business owners a lot, getting coached and mentored by them along with other leadership roles. And you'll learn a lot directly from them, which you can then take and apply in your own business or operations later down the line, which is invaluable and is only going to allow you to earn more and more as time goes on. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the guys I've worked with and have got on my own team are running bigger businesses than me in the future. But of course, don't tell them I said that. So now you know the highest paying sales jobs in 2024, along with the best industries to work in right now, both if you're an experienced sales rep or completely new to the space. But how on earth do you actually go ahead and land one of these closer roles? Well, I've put together a step-by-step guide on exactly how you can do that right here. And by the time you finish watching, you should have a much better understanding of how you can take your first steps towards making your first 10K a month in online sales. And if you just want to fast track your way into the industry, land a remote sales job, and scale past 10K a month in the shortest time possible, you can learn directly from me and the team at Club Closer. I'm going to leave a little link for you in the description below where you can book in a call directly with us.